So the title of this video is your waistline your fault? Okay, because we're certainly led to believe it is by certain sections of our society who say, you know, our obesity or ever increasing waistline is due to the fact that we are inactive, okay? But I resent that, or I reject that statement. I believe that food or our waistlines are a result of the environment of food that we have built, okay? In our DNA, in our core, our drivers, our biological drivers are built at a time when food was very, very scarce. So we used to run around and we had to really want that high calorie, high fat food because it sustained us until we could run around and find our next meal, hunt our next animal or whatever. Food was scarce, okay? That is our DNA, that is who we are. So in that, if you take that DNA and put it in an environment where calories are incredibly plentiful, okay, that's going to cause a problem. And indeed, it does cause a problem because you see the problems of overconsumption every time you step out the front door. Maybe every time you look down at your private parts, okay? You see a little belly blocking your way. That's the first thing. The second thing is that processing of food. Okay, the processing of food basically means that companies can manipulate certain aspects of the food, okay? And don't think that when they process the food, they're not doing it to make it as attractive as physically or as biologically possible to you, because of course they are. There's a term called the bliss point, which is the perfect amalgam of sugar, salt and fat, which is where you just can't say no. And we've all been caught out by the bliss point at some point in our lives, where we just literally sat there on the sofa stuffing mouthful after mouthful of ice cream and not knowing why we can't stop eating. That's because that food has been engineered or processed to be absolutely blissful to us, okay? A guy called Stigliani did a test where he fed his rats, Stigliani's rats, he fed them a pure fat diet and he fed them a pure sugar diet. And he found that in both cases, the rats stop eating, okay? They just basically, if they're eating loads of fat or they're eating loads of sugar, they're eating loads and loads of calories, but they just stopped eating and replaced it with other they just stopped, so they didn't get obese, okay? When you put sugar and fat together in a 50-50 combination, the rats couldn't stop eating, okay? They ate until they were huge, okay? That combination of sugar and fat isn't found in nature. Why do you think that is? Because whoever made the food didn't want us to eat until we couldn't move. So that food combination isn't found in nature. Where do you think it is found? That's right, in the majority of heavily processed foods. And it isn't a fluke, it's there because if they make that food incredibly attractive to you, what do you think is going to happen? So when you think, or when you consider the point, is my waistline my fault, okay? It's doesn't just come down to willpower, but it also comes down to the fact that we have been manipulated. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because whether you want to be healthy or you want to be ripped or you want to live a long life, you have to eat the right food. And I think it's that little bit easier to make the right choices when you know that certain food companies selling certain foods have sought to manipulate human beings time and time again. The more aware you are that this is going on, the better position you are to fight back and abstain from putting this foreign food in your body.